Hello friends, I'm in my vegetable garden this morning. So I wanted to take you around and show you what is growing well and what is at the end of the season and needs to be taken out. I'm going to be doing some changes today, nothing drastic, but I'm going to take out romaine lettuce and then kind of go through the whole garden and see what needs to be done. And I already made some changes in the past week or two, so I want to show those as well. And it's kind of looking like it may rain at some point today, so we will see how much we can get done. So I'll take you around my vegetable garden and show you what's growing and what's going to be changing here. So one of the biggest changes here in the garden that you may notice is I have a different centerpiece. I used to have a white lady standing in the middle there, kind of similar to this one, a little bit smaller on a pedestal. And now it's been replaced by this beautiful lady here. And this is also a fountain. It hasn't been set up yet. My husband gifted this to me for our anniversary a few weeks ago. So he's gonna be setting up this soon. We do need to run electric access here. So you can see it's just sitting just like that here, but soon it's gonna be a beautiful fountain. So I am super excited about this addition. And then I'm gonna show you what happened to my old statue. So it is right in here. It moved into its original spot. This is what I had it before. And I just love it in this part of the garden. It adds so much charm to my side garden. Just look how beautiful it is here. Yeah, so this is where it's gonna stay for now. And now let's go back to the vegetable garden so I can continue showing you the progress in here. So we're gonna start in this garden bed, in the first garden bed here where I planted tomatoes. So these tomatoes are a Better Boy variety and they are doing really well. I have a lot of green tomatoes here. They're getting pretty big. So I'm expecting that I'm gonna have them ready probably in another month or so, maybe even less. Yeah, but as you can see, these are doing really well. Strawberries here, these are ever-bearing strawberries. Small, sweet, tasty. Birds like them, so I have lots of visitors. I don't get to eat a lot of them, but birds do. And here I have dillweed. I chopped it off recently, and it's regrowing a little bit. Yeah, so it's still gonna stay in here. And then I have lots of jalapeno peppers. So you can see I have those two plants here, and they are just loaded with peppers. Look at that. Peppers everywhere. So yeah, those are doing really well. And they are from last season, and they are staying. So yeah, this garden bed is it's probably not going to have a lot of changes. I do have an empty spot here, so I'm probably going to plant something in there. But other than that, it's going to stay like this for a while. Similar scenario in this garden bed. So if you remember, here I had cabbages. I picked the cabbages several weeks ago, and they got replaced by eggplant. And these plants I got at Lowe's, a 6-pack for $6. So really good value, and they are growing really well. Besides eggplant, it's mostly herbs that I have in this garden. So here I have rosemary, then mint. I have 3 different types of mint in here. This one is called orange mint. Mild flavor, good for tea. Longevity spinach, African basil, and this one recently got damaged in a windstorm, so I cut it down, and it flushed all the new blooms already, and lots of buds that will bloom recently. Pollinators love this plant. So as soon as I have more blooms, I'm sure it's going to be loaded with bees again. And then coming around, I have common mint here. And this one I use a lot. Lemon balm mint right here. It's growing really well. I love the smell of that. And then basil. This one I grew from seed, and this is just a common basil. And also thyme in here. And this is another type of eggplant. This one is called Black Beauty, and I grew these from seed, and they are doing really well here. So coming to this garden bed, you can't even see it because I have gigantic tomato plant that is out of control. And here I have okra. Just look at that. Look at the size of that okra. It's amazing. It's ready for picking. And I have more here and here. Yeah, so lots of okra here. So I need to trim this tomato. I'm almost debating if I should take it out because I have other tomatoes in the ground, same variety. These are just Everglades tomatoes. They're like super small, but sweet, very productive, crazy, out of control. Because if I can take out this giant bush, I will have so much more space. So I really have to think about it. I keep trimming it, but I don't think that it's helpful. And right underneath here, I have carrots. And these are doing so well. Like for a while, I wasn't sure if they're gonna grow, and then they just started growing. And you can see, like I have already carrots in here. I'm gonna wait for them to get bigger for picking, but already, like even with this size, I can start picking them like for fresh eating or for roasting. Yeah, so this is really nice. Very nice to have these carrots here. So, and this is the last garden bed. I have 4 beds here, so this is the last one, and this one will need the most work here. If you remember, I planted cucumbers, and they were looking so good, and I put up this trellis for them, and I was hoping that they will climb and look all nice, and I just had infestation of bugs in here. I have kale, and it's covered in holes, and I have these green caterpillars here. Let's see if we can find some. Yeah, so I hope you can see them. Let me see if I can come on this side and show. So I have these tiny caterpillars, and they just eat this kale and everything that they can find. Yeah, I hope you can see these. And the best way to deal with these caterpillars are to hand pick them. but I don't have time for this. And this is end of the season for the kale anyway, because when it gets this hot, it changes the taste of it. It gets bitter. So my plan is just to take everything out of here. So these kales, also this romaine lettuce, because it just doesn't taste good anymore and it's going to bloom. So I'm gonna leave one for the seeds and the rest will be taken out. So I'm thinking this garden bed will have the biggest transformation and it will allow me room to grow other vegetables. This is what I have currently in my seedling area here. So I don't have a lot. Most of the things I was able to plant out in past weeks. I do have zucchini in here, and this plant grows large, so it will need about 6 feet of space, like 3 probably minimum, but it can grow really large. I haven't grew zucchini in Florida, so I'm not sure how it's gonna do, but I want to give it a try. And these I grew from seed. I bought a pack of green zucchinis at Dollar Tree. So even if they don't do well, it's not going to be a huge loss because they're so easy to grow. It probably took maybe 3 weeks for these seedlings to get this big. So where I took out the kale, I'm thinking I'm gonna put the zucchini plant. I am a bit worried because there were so many bugs in there, and I'm wondering if there's some like maybe eggs or some bugs left in soil, and if it's gonna be a problem. But regardless, I'm gonna add soil to that spot, and I'm gonna plant this plant, and we'll go from there and see what's gonna happen. This is lavender. Again, this was from a seed packet that I got at Dollar Tree, and it's looking good. I'm thinking it's ready to be planted out, so I'll do that today as well. I'm gonna plant lavender. These little seedlings here, I'm pretty sure it's ground orchid. I got these from my daughter's teacher. She gifted those to me, and I had more of them that I already planted in a garden, and these were smaller, so I left them in here to grow a little bigger, and they will also go in a garden. A teacher also gave me seeds for sweet peas. And these are blue sweet peas, and they came up. I planted them maybe 10 days ago, and look at that, they already looking so good. I have papaya seedlings. They were in a smaller pots, and I repotted them in these bigger ones, because for a while they weren't doing much, and I think they just needed a bigger pot, so they are growing much better. And I have one of the Black Beauty eggplants left in here, and the ones that I planted in a soil in a garden bed are looking so much better as compared to this one, and I planted them all at the same time, so you can see that it was much better to just plant them out in the ground than leaving them in here for a long time. So I do need to plant this one as well. So I'll just throw these lettuces in a compost bin. Look at this massive kale plant. Sadly, I have to throw it out. So a quick look at this bed now that I've taken out lettuces here and kale. So this is how it's looking. I will need to amend the soil again. I'm gonna add compost to it, starter fertilizer before I plant anything else in here. And you can see that I have these 3 different varieties of lettuces left. This one is green, purple lettuce or red lettuce, and there's romaine lettuce there, and I'm gonna let it go to seed, and once I collect the seeds they will be out of here. So now I'm moving on to this garden bed, and the main task that I need to do is just trim this tomato bush and clean it up a little bit. Some ripe tomatoes on there. Probably should save these. So I cut off some of the tomatoes just so these okras underneath have access to light. But definitely needs to be trimmed a lot more than this. I'm almost thinking if I can find something better to put in here, I'm probably gonna take out the whole plant, because I'm gonna show you the other tomatoes that are in the ground, and I have enough tomatoes. So here are the other tomatoes that are growing in the ground, and this is the same variety of Everglades, and they are massive, massive, massive plants, and very good production. They probably would do a lot better if I took better care of them and maybe trimmed them more often and properly. But honestly, there's so many tomatoes on them anyway that it's enough for me. Like, I didn't even have to do anything. pretty much zero care, except occasionally I have to uh, cut it off a bit, just so my husband can mow the lawn. Yeah, so this is good enough for me. And so many tomatoes that I've been debating if I should take out the one that I have in a garden bed. But also when I see how many tomatoes, like green and red tomatoes, are on there, I kind of feel sorry to take it out. So I'm just using this black cow manure, and that's what I'm going to add to the garden. So I'm mixing it in just to make sure that it doesn't burn the roots. Because if I don't mix cow manure with soil really well, it has so much acid in it that it can really damage the roots. Because seedlings, they have very tender root system. So I want to make sure that I mix it well. I'm gonna add a little bit of plant tone, and this is just a starter fertilizer. This is the empty spot here in this garden bed where I have tomatoes and jalapeno peppers. And I'm thinking I'm gonna put lavender in here. It's just a really small spot in the middle there, and I don't want to put anything that will grow too big. So I'm thinking this will be a good spot for it. Look at that. Very nice, healthy root system on this one. Time to go in the ground. Even with this little plant, I can smell the wonderful smell of lavender. So let's hope it's gonna grow happy in here. So here is the updated version of this garden bed. So I took out all but one of the romaine lettuces, and instead I planted here this lost eggplant that I had sitting. It definitely needed to go in the ground. I was hoping to find a place with all the other eggplants in my other garden bed, but unfortunately there's no space there. So for now it's gonna live here. And then onions are looking good. And coming around here, this is the zucchini that I planted. I do need to buy mulch and put it in this bed. So maybe I'll do that as well. And then this garden bed, not a lot of change, just tomato plant is a little smaller now that I trimmed it. And I'm hoping to trim it even more in next days. When I have more time, I really need to spend some time and work on it. Carrots are looking good. And now I can see okras a lot better in here. And they have room to grow. So this bed stayed the same. And coming around here, the only change that I've made in here is I planted this lavender right in there. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.